Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 2 of The Edge with me, Maddox Messer. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to take a quick second to thank all of you who jumped in and got on board with the very first episode of The Edge. This is a new endeavor for me, and I'm just kind of making it up as I go along, but I'm glad to have you here for the ride. So sit back and enjoy. Today's episode features my really good friend, my brother. He's been our tour manager. He's also been our roadie, driver, joint tech. This guy's got so many stories from the road. I can't wait to jump into this. So, without further ado, episode 002 of The Edge, Darrin Perry. Hey, man, it's good
All right.
seeing you. First of all, what's up, dude?
Yeah, glad to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You're officially on episode 002 of The Edge. So, that's super cool, right? Uh,
Oh
well,
yeah.
let's give let me let you give kind of a brief introduction of some of your background. I of course have gotten a ton of questions that I have prepared for you, so I'm excited to dive into those. But
Oh, I can't
uh,
wait to hear the questions you have for me.
real briefly, just give a short synopsis of who you are and what you do.
I am Darrin Perry. I am a tour manager. I'm a VIP manager, merch manager, a driver, jack of all trades and master of few. Been known to be a joint tech once in a while. I whatever I can do to keep on the road.
Well, so that kind of covers my first question, which my first question kind of really was is like, you obviously wear a ton of hats on the road, and you've held almost kind of every job so far, from being a driver, tour manager, merch VIP, which you mentioned, drum tech, kind of whatever people ask you to do. You kind of facilitate all of that. So that pretty much wraps it up, right? So
Yeah.
what was the first tour that made you realize this wasn't just loading gear, that this could possibly be a career for you?
Uh, the very first tour. I I never got into this to be passive. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a tour manager. Uh I wanted to be as close to being on that stage as I could get. I wanted to live on the bus. I wanted to, I wanted to have that rock star experience. And my very first tour I got hired as a tour manager,
Okay.
and that was with a band called Transient. uh, my buddy Jody Linnell, he played with 12 Stones and he played with Smile Empty Soul, and then he started his own band Transient. And they hired me as a tour manager, and I just ended up driving that whole tour. It just happened that it was a 8-hour tour, and I just did it all.
Right.
Well, we got done with that tour, and like a couple weeks later, apparently Trapped needed a driver, and Jody had connections with Trapped and recommended me as a driver because I had driven their whole tour. And then I got my first national tour with Trapped.
Nice, nice. So what what would be one of the probably the biggest misconceptions that people have had about life on the road?
That is glamorous.
It's not glamorous,
That
is
it's
it?
glamorous.
Truck stops
that
stink.
yeah, they think everybody thinks it's Motley Crue in the '80s, and
Yeah.
there's groupies and all that. It's a lot of sitting at truck stops, and it's a lot of sit around. It's not nearly as glamorous as people
Well,
think.
yeah, and believe me, I know that firsthand as well. Well, kind of walk me through what a normal day on tour is for you, from the time you wake up till the time you dial it out? What's that kind of like?
As a tour manager, I try to be the first one up. I'm up before we get to the venue. I'm the first one in the venue. I go in, I find out, who first of all who's paying me. Find that out right away. Find out who the sound guy is. Sound guy is your best friend at every venue you go to. Uh, he can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It's
Exactly.
There's and I mean we bring our own sound guy, but regardless, the house sound guy knows their system, knows what they've got, knows their issues, and he can make or break your day. I find out where the green room is. I find out where all the information. I find out everything I can.
So
Make
you
sure we're
kind of
parked
just
where we're supposed to
get
be.
the lay of the land, so to speak, and kind of
Yeah,
figure out what the game
yeah,
plan
yeah.
is for the day. So that seems pretty
I've
basic
already got the game plan for the day figured out.
for
The
sure.
I figure out the game plan. My advance takes care of that. I just need to make sure that all the players are in place.
Well, what's probably the hardest part about this job for you, the physical grind or the mental grind?
Uh, Probably the mental. Uh,
That's what I
and
would say.
it's not the hardest part of the job is probably when I'm not working. It's my idle time that is probably the hardest.
Sure.
I really seem to do better whenever I'm busy. When I'm on the road, I'm happy. Whenever I'm working, I'm happy. There's a weird thing about being on tour and living that life that whenever you come home and it's not regimented like that and people don't like the people around you don't live that life,
Yeah.
so they don't understand what I've been through.
Yeah.
And then whenever you try to explain it, it sounds like you're bragging because I'm in a different city every fucking day with rock stars, and it's
Right.
hard to just talk to regular people. But, no, I think the hardest part of touring is whenever I'm not touring. As far as the hardest part of being on the road, it's usually other people's drama, people's personal lives, and I mean, I live on a bus with up to 12 people at a time. It's tight, and you get some shit like that, but I love it, man. I have more trouble coming off a tour than I do being on tour.
I probably could agree with that too. I always feel like, when we're on tour, there's so much happening so quickly in a day, like so many things. Like you said, you wake up in one city, and maybe by the time you go to bed, you might already be in, a city 3, 4 hours away from where you started your
Oh, yeah.
day. So sometimes it's like you're almost kind of living two or 3 days worth of life in one day. And then you come home and it's just like, ugh, what is this, you know? So,
Yeah.
I can relate
Yeah.
to that. It's
It's It's amazing how, like, as long as some days feel like something that happens at the beginning of the tour, you'll bring up to somebody at the end of the tour, and it feels like for, either forever ago or just yesterday. I don't know, touring definitely messes with your sense of time.
yeah, for sure. It definitely, your day what days of the week? Because every day feels like a Saturday for sure. Well,
Yeah,
obviously,
it does.
I know all too well the pressures of this, but how much pressure does come along with being responsible for safety and logistics, money, all the things that come along with that of so many people all at once.
That is one that people don't really think about. Not only do I tour manage, a lot of times I drive too, where I've literally got lives, of my favorite musicians. I've been so fortunate to tour with like some of my favorite bands, and I've got like the lives of my favorite bands in my hand. And besides that, I mean, you talk about stress. Time is everything. If we don't make it to a venue, there is hundreds of fans that are missing out on a show. Sometimes thousands of fans that are missing out on a show.
That's
It
what I always say. Sometimes people have gotten babysitters. They've, maybe gotten a hotel room.
Yeah,
Plans have been
yeah,
made.
taking time off work.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and they're waiting on this band to come, which I get it. I've been that person,
yeah,
and one good thing is generally, uh, you know, touring professionals are professionals,
yeah.
and we all kind of work together and come to, we make stuff happen.
Yeah.
Whether we have to rent a U-Haul to get gear and stuff to the venue, I mean, we'll make the show happen.
Yeah.
Short of safety concerns or medical issues, things like that, I've fortunately, knock on wood, I've always been able to get my bands to the show.
For sure.
But you have to get creative with it sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely requires you to be thinking on your feet and out of the box. Also, I mean, you realize that from this that this business isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? You can definitely see things where people can break if they're not ready for it. Have you had any experiences where people have broken or came close to breaking on tour?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in situations with many bands. It's especially if you have like a lot of family issues going on. Whenever you're not at home
Yeah.
and there's like legit issues happening at your house, and you can't do anything about it, it's hard on you.
Yeah.
Whether you're the artist, you're the
Yeah.
crew, no matter who it is,
Spills over,
if you
doesn't
can't
it?
be there,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and it you know, generally, as petty as it sounds, it's usually like relationship stuff.
Sure.
It's high school boyfriend, girlfriend, sometimes husband, wife, but whatever. But that, like, when you're not comfortable with your home life, you're not comfortable on tour, and that, like, everybody feels it around you.
Yeah. The energy,
You
everybody
you
we're
can't hide it.
yeah,
You can't hide it. Yeah, you
yeah,
can't. It's energy. You can't
yeah.
hide that energy.
For sure. Well, now obviously we've spent a tremendous amount of time, on the road together as a tour manager and joint rolling extraordinaire for Messer as well. Um,
Hey, hey.
maybe we could touch on a few crazy stories of that, but what's probably one of the
That's what
most
I'm waiting on.
what's probably one of the most uh chaotic moments you've ever had on tour where you thought there's no way this is gonna work out. I think I remember you
Oh,
calling me a couple of times on tour when you're out with some other bands. You're just like, I'm ready to kill so and so. Had to talk you off a ledge.
yeah, I would rather not talk about those.
Fair enough.
There's been there now, and that being said, I will preface all this with you have been solid to me through my touring career. Messer was the 3rd band that I toured with. You're my 3rd tour. I've
Sure.
done 30 plus now,
Yeah.
and, I started with you as a content, just filming content.
Well,
And, you've been there, like, whenever I have troubles, I call you, so you know all my horror stories, and I can't
I
you
do, I
can't
do. I
you
know
can't
some of
use
those we
those
can't
against
air
me.
all that laundry out, but
There's
well, what?
been yeah, there's been a
Uh,
couple of tours that I've called you and been like, "Oh, shit." There's
well,
one particular you talking to you kept me from
yeah.
I've never quit a tour, and you talked
Yeah.
me out of that.
Oh, don't I
But
know?
no, I think like, I was on tour with Snoop Dogg, and we had our catalytic converter stolen from us at the thing, and
Classic.
I was Albuquerque.
Yeah, of course.
Go
Say less.
figure, Albuquerque.
Say less.
Right. But, like, that was one where I had a show to get to and a long way to get there, and I had to pull some miracles out. Uh, Usually it comes with breakdowns or
Right.
theft. Uh,
Yeah.
that's been like the ones, we had some I work with Starset, and these poor guys, they flew me all the way to the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin for a one-off festival. We were in La Crosse. I guess it's not middle of nowhere, it's La
Yeah.
Crosse. But, I was there to I do their safety for we had on their last tour, we had these fans,
Right.
and
The 3D
the
fans.
computer for the
Yeah.
fans yeah,
Yeah.
the holographic
Yeah.
fans, and the computer for it broke, so we weren't able to use the fans at all. So, essentially, they brought me there to do their VIP. I did nothing but their VIP. But, I mean, there's things like that where, I mean, equipment failures
Yeah.
or, vehicle failures,
Yeah.
that's what kills
Yeah.
that's the worst.
Tired.
Anything else
Yeah.
we can deal with.
Yeah. For sure. We've definitely, had a few breakdowns in, the Metzer camp here or there. At one we were stuck in Were you stuck in Seattle with us? That when we had the brakes freeze up in Seattle? Were you with
No,
us?
I just came across the photo of our camp outside of your bus whenever the windshield wiper flew off and it was freezing
Yes.
and we had to stop and fix it took us like an hour and a half to get that windshield wiper going.
Yeah.
But the it was like the man, me and you and had I saw your I saw your podcast with Derek, talking about your windshield
Yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
and our windshield time. I It's burnt into my memory,
Yeah. I was telling the guys, like, really,
whether I
it's
want it or not.
yeah, it's weird that I'll have these random flashbacks where I'll I'll see, a road that we're driving down plain as day, you know what I mean? I could
Yeah,
see,
yeah, yeah.
I can imagine the trees we're trying to dodge, hide, tree
Yeah.
branches, and you know.
Backing into a
Oh
venue.
yeah,
I tell
yeah,
you what, for you
yeah.
guys that don't know, Maddox drives 90% of the time whenever we're on tour, and he's driving a Prevo with a trailer, legit setup and legit rig. I've seen him do pro driver moves. I don't want your driving skills to go unnoticed.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's something that I take very serious, and so when you're anytime you're hauling, anybody's lives or never mind the gear, it's really
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about the people's lives and which you can relate, doing the bandwagons and the RV tours that you've done, which are some even harder driving for sure. So, let's see. I have more questions here. What's probably the wildest thing you've seen fans would never believe, or just, yeah, you would say you would never believe this happened? Like, what is probably some of the wildest things that you've seen that you would like, no way you're going to believe this?
Fans?
Well, not just from fans, but like if there's something that like you saw while you're on tour, like maybe we were driving or windshield or anything, is there one crazy moment where you're like, oh, no one's ever gonna
Oh,
believe this happened?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Nobody, you're not gonna believe this.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna believe this. I was driving a bandwagon with Fame on Fire, and we'd already gotten like warnings about wind and all this shit. Like when it was up, I forget if it was like Minnesota, Wisconsin, somewhere up in that area.
Where it's
It
windy.
was somewhere up there. It's very windy,
Yep.
but there's always wind advisement. So I'm paranoid as fuck. I'm driving careful, and if it wasn't a Bigfoot, it was it was the wildest human. It was either a juvenile Bigfoot or the craziest human being I've ever seen in my life. I was out in the middle of nowhere, and this some person, something ran out in the road, like stopped in the middle of the road and backed up, and I almost hit him with my mirror of the bandwagon. Like
Sasquatch.
that's I'm telling you. It okay. Yeah, I know you're laughing at me, bro, but I think it was, dude. I think it was.
Okay.
Listen to hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. You know how like when you see a gorilla, how like the nose, you can like it feels like you could poke it and like your finger would stay indented, like the hard
Yeah.
kind of look.
Plasticky. Yeah.
The whole face is like kind of yes, plasticky like damn near his whole face kind of all I could see was his face and like thin black hair. He was either a naked dude in the middle of nowhere in horrible conditions, or I about hit a it wasn't like big. It was like man sized, but it didn't look like a man. I'm telling you, nobody's gonna believe
That's
me.
crazy.
Nobody's gonna believe me.
Well,
It's true.
all
It's true.
right, all right, whatever, dude, whatever.
Don't don't look. You're hey, if you think that I'm even halfway right, comment
Okay,
because let
okay.
him know. He's
All right, we'll see. Put your comments down if you guys
it's
believe,
true.
if
It's
you
true,
believe him or
bro. It's
not.
true.
All right. Well, you had mentioned earlier some of the artists that you work with. You've obviously worked with artists from all levels, from the kind of mid-level, just starting out, touring, all the way up to like big acts like Snoop Dogg and Star Set. What are some things that you've noticed that really separates true professionals from the ones who are struggling? You know, is there one thing? Obviously, money, but
Uh, the only thing that really it's usually like the attitude
yeah,
difference is what is like
that's it.
stands out to me. And but it's not like you would think.
Yeah,
The super successful bands that I work with are humble and chill,
yeah,
where a lot of the up and coming bands that I work with have been where I've gotten
yeah,
the egos
yeah.
and the attitude. It's not like you would expect.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
funny is
I
because I
get more like local bands. I get local bands with insane
right, entitlement,
egos.
yeah. I could totally
That
see
yeah,
that.
and
You would think it would be quite the opposite, but having been in the business all and seen that also, simultaneously, it's true. It seems like the the higher up you are, the more humble you become, and you had to probably have become humbled because of that process, obviously.
I yeah, I haven't I've yet to see like somebody be humbled.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen like where in their trajectory that's happened,
sure.
but like the bigger bands that I work with are usually more chill.
Yeah,
And it really gets worse going lower.
yeah,
It's maybe it's like arrogant national touring band stuff where like we clearly should get green rooms, kind of
right.
things like that.
Sure.
Uh, but I get a lot of local bands have kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
Not with their music, but just with their attitude and
S
the way that they
uh
there's a professionalism that they don't have.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit on
Not
another
all of them. Not all.
episode.
Some of them are super great.
Sure.
Yeah, don't.
Well, I don't know if you've had a chance to work with any quote unquote TikTok artist yet, but I have seen this a handful of times where these artists go from their bedroom or their house and essentially thrust it in front of, 1,000 plus people and has skipped kind of some of those harder, grindy
But
steps that I feel are
yeah,
important to build some of that character and humility that you're talking about.
that is that one that you're right. That is totally different than what I have actually worked with a TikTok artist. And his issues were nothing like what I'm talking about. I mean like artists that cover bands
Right.
that aren't, they're good cover bands maybe, but they're not like on the level of the
Sure.
bands that are doing the stuff. The Tik I worked with a country TikTok artist. He got big on TikTok and he got big on SoundCloud and that kind of thing. He's kind of like the Kid G, the country
Okay.
kind of rap.
Yeah. Sure.
Remember that? That dude, him and his whole camp were solid.
Yeah.
Very professional. They were, clearly the headliner, and uh, he didn't go through all that, but it's a different scene too. It
Sure. Sure.
for from what I'm used to. I've had two tours in my career that have been like kind of out of my genre,
Yeah.
and that was Snoop Dogg and Kid G.
Yeah.
And it yeah, but he 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 was it wasn't one of those kind of things. It was local. It's my issue's always been with like local
Sure.
artists that are I don't know. They play that venue every week,
Yeah. That
and
that checks out. That seems like something that makes sense. So, I know, obviously, you know about my work with Operation Rock the Troops and work with veterans, and you have some military, background. Can you, uh, I mean, this kind of I've known that with working with the veterans, that one of the things that they enjoyed about doing the songwriting camps that we do is building back a sense of camaraderie, almost like your little platoon or your band of brothers. In what ways has your experience and your service really kind of prepared you for this life?
the discipline,
Yeah,
uh, that and leadership. It's kind of I had leadership development training in the military,
yeah,
and it's helped. I was just actually talking today. Like I wish I would have done this 20 years earlier, but I don't think that I would have been prepared 20 years earlier. I think that, between my military service and then I was a supervisor at factories and I bartended. And I think that the combination of those things is kind of what's made me, quote unquote successful
Yeah.
now. I I think I could have fucked it up whenever I was young. I don't think I was ready when I was young, and I think that between like my
Yeah.
military got me set up for everything else that's came. I was a wild little fucker before I went to the military.
Weren't we all?
Oh man, and a lot of people they say you come back and you're aggressive and stuff. It calmed me down.
Yeah.
It took me from like feeling like I needed to prove myself to having already done that.
Yeah.
And so from then it's kind of been going up. And I but no, military was it's big on what I do. I carry myself like a military
Yeah.
man.
It seems like it
I
makes perfect
try.
sense, you know what I mean? Because it's like a tour is like a mission, you know what I mean? It's like you're going
Oh,
out
they are. I'm
and
mission oriented.
yeah, it's very mission oriented, and so there is so much of that same strategic planning, and execution, and all of the same kind of things that go along with military training. And you'd mentioned leadership skills. I think that is something that if I can, if I ever recommend anybody, what's one thing you can really do to help out a band? It's like whoever the guy is in the band, make sure he has some type of leadership training or is pursuing, if you are that guy in the band, if the best that you can do is uh,
Yeah,
take some leadership training classes and learn really what that means, so that you can be an effective leader. Because that's probably the most important thing about any of this is you got somebody who's leading the charge, and you got a team of people who are willing
yeah,
to
yeah.
execute. Can't have mutiny on a tour.
Well, I mean, well, you know what? I Speaking of mutiny, I was just on tour with a band called Stitched Up Heart, and I and Jess brought up whenever I'm on a tour bus, it's maritime law. I think actually I might have got that from you.
Yeah,
I'm not
in
100%. I
international
did get that
waters.
from you. Yeah, anytime I'm on a bus, it's maritime law. And the first thing he said was mutiny. I'm like I was gonna leave him in Albuquerque. I was gonna I was gonna he was gonna be a castaway in Albuquerque if he yeah.
Walk the
But
plank.
no, but it does, and it's those same kind of feelings, that camaraderie, and I mean, it's the same reason. Like when I got out of the military, I went and became a firefighter and an EMT because I wanted that camaraderie, and I mean, I think it's part of why I'm able to fall into a camp so easily because I enjoy that brotherhood and that family vibe, and
Yeah,
I whenever I'm a tour manager, I try to, make that a little more of a thing and make it, you know, I want that to be our vibe.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, you
a
definitely
tour
have a vibe.
Negativity in a tour is cancerous.
You definitely have it is 100%. I mean, it can be a cancer. So you definitely have a vibe about you, I think. And I think that's kind of important on any tour, because like really it's so much about the hang, you know what I mean? Like you just said,
Oh
you gotta
yeah,
so many different personalities, so much pressure. You don't know, everybody's got their home life stuff, and it's like you kind of got to be like uh kind of like uh a vibe charm that's kind of going around and making sure that everything is kind of like vibing right. And so it's great that you have a good calm. You always have had a really good calm sense of like in the heat of the moment. You're like, I've never really seen you really be like anything other than just like calm and collected in those moments. So that's probably the
yeah.
military
I mean,
training.
I've dealt with worse, but it doesn't do any good. Like I said, it's contagious. If you can, and it doesn't matter how good you are at your job. You could be the best tour manager, the best driver, the best bass player, the best whatever. If you are hard to deal with on tour, then you're not going to come back.
Right. It's not you're not going to
I
have a
always
long
say the reason
resume.
I get no, I the reason I get invited back is back rubs and handy jays. And,
Whoa. Mark that. All right. We're going to keep
there's your
that.
there's your clip.
There's our clip. We're gonna be clipping that one. So let's to get a little bit more kind of the dark side. We kind of talked a little earlier about coming off a tour, but like, what are you doing to kind of avoiding that burnout? in between? I mean, you trying to stay busy at home. Oh, it's kind of hard, huh?
Uh, it is.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest part of my for me, like the hardest part for me psychologically and really all around financially,
Yeah.
everything is my time off.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
and
I don't think people really
I'm
understand.
getting better.
I don't think the average person fan, doesn't really necessarily understand those. Like you're only really making money when you're on tour. Or if you're not on the road,
Right.
it's very hard. And so it's like for guys like you who are trying to make this a full time gig because you can't really have it. No one's. I mean, take off work for 6 months. So you know, what I mean, it's very hard to do. So I think like you know. Especially like for people who maybe are thinking about wanting to get into this. I mean, you kind of got to have uh you got to set yourself up financially with your home
Yeah.
life, and you
Yeah.
can't have a lot of bills and things like that hanging over your head, and be able to have sustainability at this for sure.
Especially starting out. You starting out is rough. It's getting a little better for me. Once you get known and once you kind of have a name, then it gets a little easier to get work once you start building a resume. But
Yeah.
like I'm freelance. I'm freelance 100%.
Yeah.
I book my own gigs. If a band doesn't want to tour with me, then I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But I've been super lucky. I get like every year around, December, January, I start thinking I need to get a real job, and then my year will book up
Yeah, by
within a week.
yeah, by
And
by January, February. I mean, tours get booked out almost a year in advance sometime, and you want to make sure you've got your crew locked in. So if somebody's like, yeah, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, and so we'll just cover this. But like, how do I do your job? Like, if someone's looking to get into this business, um, you know, where's a good place for somebody to start?
I'm a hard one to ask that, man. You know as well as I do. I got my start with Rock Rage Radio.
Yeah,
Uh, I knew I kind of started by getting catfished
yeah,
about a job in the industry, and whenever I found out that was bullshit, then I decided to find my own way, and I reached out to our mutual friend John and got on with Rock Rage Radio, and then started interviewing bands.
right,
And that's what, ultimately got me my transient gig, which ultimately got me the Trapped gig, and then right after I got done with Trapped, linked up with you, and then Fame on Fire, and then Snoop Dogg, and then Any Given Cent. I mean,
yeah.
it
Snowballs from
snowballed
there.
from there, but
So, really, I think,
everybody can't do what I did.
yeah. Well, I think
I
for
mean, I guess
one,
you can everybody can do.
you got to kind of live near or be where the action is to some degree. So you got to go to shows,
No, I live in it, bro. I live in Indiana. I drove my ass all over. I used every dollar that I had to go to places and make myself know. I no,
Yeah.
you can't. That is,
And that's,
I.
that's what
You
I'm
have to
talking
put.
about. You have to do
I
it.
had to put everything into it.
Yeah, you have to do
I
it.
had to put everything into it. I would take my tools and put them in my trunk in case I had to pawn them to have gas money to get back home because I had friends there that would, a friend that I'd met through Rock Rage that would let me get a pass and I could go and hang out. And I would spend everything I had to go do it, hang out with these people and kind of get known. And then that's how it all started. No, I had it wasn't sitting at home at all.
Yeah.
I put everything. Like I gambled money I didn't have and took pawn. I knew I didn't have. I twice I had to stop and pawn something to get
Yeah.
home.
That's the level of dedication that I think it takes, and that you definitely have to do this. Is you just got to want to do it to the exclusion of everything else. And that's another thing about this job is like we'll teach a lot of the skills required for, like, I think a lot of bands like are just grateful to have
Yeah,
somebody show up and want to take the initiative to help in the early stages in the beginning. So I
yeah,
always
yeah.
tell people, if you wanted it, then go out there and put yourself out there like you did with no safety net. You were
Got
out there
to.
with no
Yeah,
net. I'm going to do this or I'm not, and so you had no choice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great that
I
you're doing it. You're doing it.
I'm well. I'm trying. I'm trying, but it's that's for sure. And I've had like you have been another one. You and your whole camp. It's been the people that I've met along the way that have kept me doing this. It's not anything other than what I keep learning.
Yeah.
You know, every I'm 30 plus tours in now, and I learn a little bit from every one of them, whether it's something to do or something not to do.
Right.
Uh, they they stack up to where I'm starting to kind of have a pretty good feel for things.
Well, what's a and I probably already know the answer to this, but we'll ask it for the listeners. What's a rookie mistake that typically will get somebody sent home pretty early?
I mean,
I mean, attitude is
there's kind
everything,
of
right? It's like attitude,
attitude.
you
Yeah,
know.
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah. Being
I
too
don't know how
drunk.
I want to say
Yeah.
being an asshole.
Yeah.
Uh,
Over drinking,
yeah, just if you're
overindulging. Yeah.
overindulging is
Yeah.
a huge one. And it's not. People do shit they wouldn't normally do
Yeah.
because they overindulge. Uh, disrespect. Now there's like a hierarchy to a tour. How you play on the bill matters to what you get
That's
on the
right.
tour.
Yeah. That's right.
It's there are some bands that feel like they deserve a lot whenever they're the opening band, and it goes opening, direct support, and then headliner.
Yeah.
Headliner gets whatever they want, and then the direct support gets whatever they want after that, and then whatever it just falls down like
Yeah.
that.
Whatever's left over.
Uh, you know, uh, People in that lower tier demanding upper tier things will get
Mhm.
you removed from a tour real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a yeah, there's a respect. There's a respect thing where you got to respect the headliner and it's their tour and it's their show.
Well,
That's been probably one I've seen.
yeah, it's definitely not all just like, rainbows and kitty cats. There's definitely got some challenges to it for sure.
Oh yeah, and a lot of work. It's like 16-hour days for crew. The artist a lot of times can sleep in if they're not Maddox that's doing a few different things.
yeah,
But artists artists can sleep in where like the tour manager, the crew, the stage crew, the stage manager, all that. We have to be up and ready to load in when it's time to go. And uh, there's times where like being a tour manager, I'll get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and not go to bed until 3 in the morning.
right.
And
Yeah.
it's just how it
Whatever.
is. I might try to slide in for a nap. Usually that's not very good, but
Yeah. I have a hard time
uh,
napping on
long
tour
days.
too. That I get thrown off by sleeping and waking up twice in the same day. That really throws me off sometimes. Or uh I
It does, yeah.
I'll try to lay down for a nap before the show, and then I'll just wake up in a full panic because I'll think I've overslept the show, or there's a lot of FOMO,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fear of missing out of what's going on inside too. So it's like I want to go in and see, but
Yeah,
you really need to rest because you got to
yeah,
drive 4 hours. So it's a lot of that too.
yeah. Well, and like I said, your tours, man, you pulled double duty. You pulled double and triple duty a lot of times. You were the driver about all. Derek would fill in once in a while,
Every
but
now and
most of
then.
the time you were the driver.
Yeah.
And then you also once I remember. Okay, I started out as your content guy.
Yep.
And I remember sitting up front with you while you were driving, and every time some little bitch would come up that you needed a tour manager for, I'd be like, "You need a tour manager for that.
Yeah.
You need a tour manager for that." And I subliminally messaged my way into being your tour
Yeah.
manager, because then the next tour I came back, I was your tour manager, and the next 3 or 4
Yeah.
after that.
Well,
But
you got to build
I
that trust.
remember that first tour, I would sit up front and roll joints, and every time I would hear something come up that I would have taken care of if I was your tour manager, I would just mention it to you.
Well,
And it's crazy. A lot of I start out as a driver for most of the tours that I do, most of the bands I work
right.
with. And most of the bands I work with, I end up being their tour manager. Silent Theory, Blacklist, Union. There's a lot of bands where
Well,
I got hired as their driver, and then I come back as their tour manager.
you kind of got to
So
wear multiple hats in this industry now, or the more hats that you can wear, the more useful You got to be a useful tool. You got to be the tool that everybody wants to reach in the toolbox and get for whatever they need. And that's probably like the one thing I always like, tell people is like just make yourself as knowledgeable at things as much as you
Yeah.
possibly can. And just just try to be useful so that when we need
What
something.
gets me, like the big get right now is like everybody wants a front of house tour manager.
Yeah,
What I mean?
yeah,
And I'm not a front of house guy. And
yeah,
as a tour manager, I don't want a front of house guy that isn't like Nick, like all about it and
yeah,
all in.
yeah,
I'm not that guy. I'm not interested in it. I don't
because let's
I wouldn't be good at it because
let's face it.
I don't like that stuff.
Probably really good front of house guys don't make, or let me say this right. Really good tour managers probably don't make really good front of house guys. And we know that really good front of house guys don't make good tour managers. So it's like the idea of wanting to mix those two together, it's like you got this one guy with this particular flavor of autism and trying to get, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
trust me, you
my
want an
flavor is totally
autistic, yeah,
different. Yeah.
you want an autistic front of house engineer. You don't want a
I
a tour manager who's autistic.
Okay. So let me just fucking ask you this question. With in my situation, I tend to go more uh people stuff. I work with people. I do tour managing, I do VIP merch. Is that you think that's enough? With the driving it
With
is,
the yeah,
but I
with
don't want to drive forever.
right, with the driving, that is, handling VIP, tour managing, merch, if, working, I mean, nowadays, it's like,
Doing merch and VIP or doing merch and TM at the same time is hard because there's a lot of things I have to do while the merch booth is open.
yeah, it's hard. You almost kinda need, you know I mean, I really don't know how the front of house guy could really TM with everything that has to go on with front of house. Something's gonna suffer. You know what I mean? Either the sound is gonna suffer or the TMing is gonna suffer, but something's gonna suffer. You
Well, I
know,
mean, the only time I don't know, not I don't really see it like that. I think the TM, the time that the band is on stage is the time the TM kind of has a little break.
that's the only time. That's kind of the only
So
time.
if yeah, so if your TM is front of house, then he's not doing TM duties. He's doing front of house duty. I mean, he's working
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
But I do see where that makes sense because the only time that I don't have time as a TM is whenever they're on stage, and then
yeah,
I put it on to
yeah. You're just standing
luckily
there. You
the
might as well
bands
push some faders too. But
might
yeah,
as well push some fucking slides, make it go to the orange, yellow,
yeah,
keep it yellow.
yeah.
I forget what Nick used to tell me to
He
keep it
said,
yellow.
"Yeah, keep it yellow. Don't snow cone it." He said, "Don't make a snow cone out of it." And I don't know what that means, but
Man, I tell you what, me and him went to a casino one time. We were in I had to been Vegas. Oh, we were at that KOA in Vegas.
okay.
Remember the KOA in Vegas we stayed at?
I do remember the one outside of what was that casino we stayed at? The Well, it doesn't matter, but yeah, it's the only KOA in Vegas that you can
It's
stay at.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the only KOA in
a
Vegas, yeah,
Sam's Town or something, right? Sam's Town is right
something
there.
like that,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but me and him ended up walking to a casino, and it was an interesting time.
yeah.
We've
Nick,
been man, we toured a lot, dude. We've had,
yeah,
like, 4 tours together.
yeah. At least, probably. I mean,
4 or
you
5, I was thinking 4 or 5.
uh, you never did. Oh yeah, you were definitely. Did you go with Betty White? Did you ever? Are we only?
No,
No, you were only in the
no.
Prevo.
You were in the you were in the Prevost the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Well, you lucked out.
Yeah, I've been spoiled, dude.
Yeah, you have been
I've
spoiled.
I've and I've never done a band tour. I started in a with Transient. They had like a airport shuttle
Okay.
that was made into a tour bus, and I went from that to a bandwagon with Trapped to a Prevo with you, and then I bounced back and forth from that
Yeah.
my entire career
Were
since.
you out with Drowning Pool or no? You were out with
Yeah,
Any Given Sin.
yeah. I
Had
was well. I was with Any Given Sin.
they had one of those buses that like an old like a train.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just pretty
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
But they also get hotels every night.
Yeah.
which Vic, their singer, was my roomie.
Oh,
And what happens on tour stays on tour, but Vic.
okay.
Just it's nice to have your own little area. But family dinners are probably my favorite thing on a day off. Really,
Sure.
I love that. I'm you know me. I love taking pictures and I love having these memories. So whenever everybody's together and you go out and have these things, that's really cool.
Yeah, those are
Like I said,
pretty
dude,
special.
I tour. I'm
Yeah.
a fan too.
Yeah.
I it's wild. I get to tour with one band I think I've toured with that I didn't really dig their music. Just
Yeah.
wasn't for me. But other than that, like everybody I tour with, I really enjoy watch, especially their live shows are always fun. I've been very fortunate
Yeah.
that I got into the genre that I love.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like being at a I can't imagine working at a show where I hated the music every night.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that would definitely suck.
I've never had
Or
that.
or yeah, just not or didn't even like the type of people that you're on the bus with or, couldn't relate or
I've
whatever,
really not had that
yeah.
either. I've had
Yeah.
disagreements with people, but
Yeah.
I've never had anybody that was just like unbearable to be with.
Sure. Sure. Well, let's see. I was gonna ask, you brought up another good point a second ago, and then I totally forgot we got spaced off on day off stuff, but
Yeah, we'll
um
do that.
did so like you weren't with us when we went to Mount Rushmore, were you? No, because that was
No.
in Betty White too, so you missed that one too. So like, yeah, there were like some cool day off stuff that we would go do. We used to cook a lot in Betty White.
Sweetwater
Oh,
was cool with you guys.
Sweetwater, that was a
That
fun day
tour,
off. Yeah. Have you
yeah,
gone back to
we
Sweetwater?
had a huh?
Have you been back there? Has anybody else gone back to Sweetwater?
No, no, that's the only time I've ever been.
Yeah, you
But
gotta.
we got VIP treatment. It was cool. We got the full tour and the slide and all
Yeah,
that. It was
there's probably a lot of
that
musicians
immersive.
that you've been out with that have never been there either. You may have that one
There
up.
are. I
Yeah,
Yeah. I've tried a couple of times, when I was on tour as a tour manager to get the bands I was with in there,
yeah,
but scheduling a lot of times going to Fort Wayne is a lot of times out of the way from where we're going, so we
sure.
don't always have a lot of time,
Yeah.
unless we're going to Michigan afterwards,
Uh,
it it's usually kinda hard to get to.
what did you go to? Were you with us when we went to Lewiston, Idaho, and went on the river?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a
I
good
was in
time.
Lewiston.
Yeah, that was
Lew
a good time.
I was there for remember you talked about the, New Year's Eve show you did a few years ago?
Oh, in
Uh,
Rupert,
with
Idaho.
the turnip
The
drop?
turn, the beat, yeah, the beat drop.
The the beat
The
drop, was it the beat?
Yeah, it was a beat. It was a beat capital.
Bro, it was cold as fuck. Remember the trailer whenever
Yeah,
that hot cop that told
yeah.
me that we had to quit smoking in the trailer?
Well, we didn't know and this is maybe TMI, but we didn't know that the guy who was putting on the concert was like under investigation for like
Oh,
drug trafficking and
for
shit. You know what I mean?
cocaine,
Yeah.
yeah. He gets busted, yeah. Like a week and a half later, he's like on fucking the news.
I'm just glad that
You
check
those
cleared.
cops those cops yeah, right. Those cops are super cool though.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, you got to quit that." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah.
I
Say less. That was the only time that our computer froze up. Like,
froze.
yeah, yeah. It was like, oh, the show's not going. Like, I'm like, the computer wouldn't even turn on. I'm like, and Nick didn't
Yeah.
believe. I said, it's just cold. There's no way. It's just yeah.
Remember
There's.
there's 4 fucking heaters back behind the
Oh
stage, and
yeah,
it was nothing. Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Eh,
crazy. I got some really cool pictures because your breath, remember, like, anytime you breathe out, it looked
Yeah.
cool as fuck having all that.
That's definitely the
Yeah,
coldest
that was the
show.
fun one, man.
That.
Wasn't Keitra at that one from Rock Rage?
Uh,
Scott?
I don't remember who was all at that one.
I
Brock,
think
from the Edge. That was a Twin Falls, Idaho thing.
The
Uh,
Edge, hey,
the
The
Edge.
Edge.
And hey, there you go. He stole that from me, I think, actually. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure.
So that's probably
Uh,
one thing that's
bro, that
probably. Oh, this is what I was going to ask you a minute ago. That I lost my train of thought on was that it's you know how we talked earlier about, it's maritime laws, and it's kind of like I've always equated being in a band on tour a little bit to like a pirate ship, and it's always interesting to see how um, different captains move their ship about, you know what I mean, and how their production's done. But it's cool. I remember the first time I went on a tour opening up for somebody, and then you're like, oh, it's this. We do this again, and then we do the same thing again, and then again, and it's like
Yeah.
it's cool to see it happen like that, and kind of get that peek behind the curtain. Um, you
Yeah.
know, is there one of the bands that you've been out to like where it's like it never got old for you? Or it's like I got, the show was just good every time.
I mean, I mean, it's more of a fluke that it's not good. It,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody I've toured with has been pretty
Pretty
well professionals, and it's not, it's more of a, it's more odd for it to something to go wrong.
yeah. Yeah, you kinda look for
Yeah,
what
these
the things to
guys,
go wrong just so you can have some excitement in your life. That's a great tour to be on when there's, like,
mhm,
nothing going wrong.
yeah.
Um,
No, I would rather be bored on a tour than because whenever, like I said, it's whenever it's not going right,
yeah,
it is stressed to a million.
yeah,
And the bigger the tour, the bigger the deal. It's not
yeah,
always a 150 people in a club. Sometimes it's
yeah.
12,000 people at
It's an arena. Yeah,
a theater.
yeah,
Yeah, I've amphitheaters. I've not done a whole lot of arenas. Amphitheater. I've done a lot of amphitheaters, but
yeah,
that's a lot. And
yeah,
if production is huge, and when something's wrong, it is all hands on deck,
yeah,
everybody, you know but like I said, I work with super professional people like on the I work on the human side of it. The
yeah,
tech side is, I got people like Nick with
yeah,
Starset, and Nick with you, and
yeah. A lot of nicks.
there's a lot of Nicks, but I'm telling you, Nick from Starset is she is one of the most impressive people I've ever been on tour with, for
Wow.
just like her work ethic and her knowledge, and just
Yeah.
she
That's
is
a
a
big
go-getter.
production too. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces
That's
to that. Yeah,
yeah, it's easy to be impressed by somebody that makes
yeah.
that happen, you know what I'm
'Cause that's
saying?
like, like you said, there's vans, and then there's bus tours, and then there's bus tours with an 18 wheeler. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
like a
or you got like Starset's 2 buses and 2 18-wheelers.
or there's, yeah, 2
The
buses
Snoop
and box
Dogg was
trucks.
9 buses, yeah, and Snoop Dogg was 9 buses and
Yeah.
22
So
semi-trailers.
it's pretty cool to see how everybody kind of moves their ships around. That's something that I was always fascinated with, like seeing kind of behind
It's
the
all kind of the
scenes.
same, though. I mean, there's a formula to it. To doing it right, there's a formula, and it just gets multiplied by,
Yeah.
production and size, and I mean, everything just gets
It just
there
gets
is kind
bigger.
of a formula
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It does, but yeah,
yeah,
you just and like for me, it's kind of what I have to worry about is accounting for how my things are going to change on going from clubs to theater kind of thing.
yeah,
But it's like that for everybody. It's just it's but it is a formula. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just bigger and more rules and more perks,
yeah.
more.
Eh, Obviously, you got to see some international time this last year or two as well. That's been pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
Getting some
that was
stamps in the
that was
old
my favorite
passport.
tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
it was cool. I got to spend a month in Europe, and it's just because I'd not got to go and do the touristy side of Europe. It was very That's probably my favorite tour. It
yeah.
was starts that one. It was an amazing band, an amazing band
Yeah,
base.
it's
The
kind of
production was great.
a first class way to go in there. You know what I mean? You're not slumming
It's
it.
a nice way to start. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're gonna do it, rolling around and beat the streets, double decker tour bus isn't a
Those
bad
things are
way
nice.
to.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
nice.
bro, yeah, it's a nice way to experience Europe. And like I said, the band, they have been so cool to me.
Yeah,
Uh, they teach me. I learned they got like I said, Nick. Nick is a pro. She's taught me a lot. They got
yeah,
Chuck. They've got so many people that are just so good at their job.
yeah. Everybody's eager to teach you too. That's what's great. So,
They
uh,
are, and if you're willing to learn and you're not an
yeah,
asshole, they
yeah,
want to teach you because
yeah,
you help. That'll help them out.
yeah. They're just as bored on tour as you are. They're looking for something to do.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, man, I've had so much fun. Me and I think it was Chuck and a couple other guys. I know Corey, their auxiliary guy for Starset. We were in Antwerp, Belgium, and we were just kind of doing the boom, boom, boom. We were like, we'll go in here and get just a little bit of something to eat, and then we'll go to the next spot and get a little something to eat, and then go to the
Okay.
next, just sampling, just doing samples all the way down these crazy Belgium streets with people that had no idea what we were saying, but we just kind of point at what we wanted, and went to this wild little bar that they, were surprisingly Trump friendly. They were, they offered us a discount if we told them that we loved Trump. It was, it was weird, but
Yeah.
people in Europe were really into our politics. But it was
Yeah.
like I was there in 2024, so it was right at the election time. My last day on that tour was the day that Trump was announced as president.
Yeah. Well,
So
they don't have a lot of
yeah,
the
it was
freedoms.
a
They don't have a lot of the freedoms that we're afforded over here, and so,
They don't have freedom to
you know,
give you ice in your mixed drink. I
no,
don't know what
they don't have ice in any of their drinks in Europe, I
ice
will
is.
tell you.
No, ice is a commodity in
Yeah,
Europe, man.
that's how
That's
Canada was too.
but
We were in Canada, same thing. You try to get a Dr. Pepper, and there's maybe 1 cube in there, and I'm like, "What is
Mhm.
this?" We're from Texas.
And
You
it just
better.
feels like that's just gonna water down so much quicker and be gone. Like
Yeah.
one of them by itself feels so much watery, more watery than a bunch of them.
Well,
If it's yeah.
let's talk about food for a second. Like, what are because there are definitely I have my favorite like regional like if I'm on this part of I'm getting this food over here, this food over there. What are some of the favorite foods or new foods that you've kind of been turned on to?
Uh, Pho is my favorite food. Once again, I gotta come to you on that one. My first time having pho was with you. And anybody that knows me knows that pho is my jam.
Hell
The
yeah.
best places that I've found to get pho have been at the district there in Dallas or Fort Worth.
Yeah, Pho
Uh,
District.
Toronto has a very good pho. I don't.
Yeah,
They're
they for sure they would. Yeah,
Yeah,
Toronto. Yeah.
Toronto and uh, where else was it? I just had it recently. Somewhere in California,
Yeah,
Santa
LA for
Ana. I had
sure.
some
Santa
really,
Ana.
really good. I
Yeah.
had some really good pho in Santa Ana.
Yeah. Any of those
Random,
any of those
but
major cities where you're gonna find a Vietnamese, population, you're
Houston,
gonna
yeah,
get
Houston's got really
Houston.
good pho too.
Houston might
But
have some
that's
of the they might have some of the best pho in Houston, you know what I mean, out there as well. There's some good
I
spots.
I think the best that I've had was that in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a
Best I've had.
concept I saw a concept, for I'm not sure where it was. It was like it's called, Chipotle, and it was like they took pho and Chipotle, put them together, and so you walk in and you're like, you pick your broth, your noodles, and you tell me this, give me that, and at the end of the deal, you got a Chipotle bowl. But that would be
I like
interesting.
okay. So just pho stuff, but with a Chipotle
Yeah,
vibe
like
put
yeah,
together.
well
It's like Subway. It could be Subway too.
yeah, well, Subway probably
Okay.
originated that, so for sure. For sure.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for pho is one of my favorite, and you can't get it anywhere, just anywhere. There's
No.
only, what I'm saying? There's
And
like
there
only certain
there's like
places.
there is such a hard difference in good and bad. Like you'll either get and you can usually tell when you walk in by the smell.
Right.
Like, if you walk in and you don't smell it strong as
Yeah.
fuck, then
Yeah.
you might as well just turn around
Yeah, we're probably assuming
because
everybody's had pho before, and there might be some people who don't even know what pho is, so they're living under a rock for some reason or another. But pho is a Vietnamese soup, typically with eye of round steak thinly sliced in there, or some higher version would be like with filet mignon. I prefer to
you
get
can do
mine
it.
raw on the side, and then that way I can just kind of dip the meat in and just cook it enough and have it kind of medium rare and nice and tender. But the broth is like a beef bone broth, and it's got like a lot of like cardamom and
The best
licorice and
herbs ever.
yeah, it's medicine. It feels like medicine
It
when
is
I eat
medicine.
it for
It's my new
sure.
comfort food, bro.
Yeah,
It's like chicken noodle soup
yeah.
can go fuck itself. I am like pho is my like there it is medicine. I
Pho fuck
feel
itself.
better.
Yeah,
But it's Now, and I used to like whenever the first couple times I ordered it after I went with you the first couple times, I would get it raw on the side,
Yep.
but the soup doesn't always come hot enough for me to get it cooked
Right.
enough how I want
Yeah.
it. So
You gotta
I
be
don't do that anymore.
you gotta be really
I
particular
don't
about
even
where you
risk
go.
it. I just
Yeah.
order it how it is and let it come. I used to
Yeah.
order it on the side, but unless you're at the district, which
Yeah.
is
It's safe.
phenomenal, if you're
Yeah.
ever in Fort
Yeah.
Worth, the pho district is fire.
Yeah.
That ramen spot they've got,
Wabi
that's
House.
good too.
Yeah, the Wabi
Yeah,
House.
that's good
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Those are probably some of
Yeah,
my favorite foods to get onto because they're again, it's that
that is my
comfort
favorite.
thing,
That's my
you
comfort
know?
food.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, you can always get good, if you're in New York, you get pizza.
yeah.
If you're fucking and I don't
Portland,
I say
Maine, you get
Philly,
a
you get
lobster
Philly,
roll,
but yeah,
yeah,
that is one. You know
the
what? The
seafood.
best lobster roll I ever had was in Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was at a place called like the Tavern or something like that.
Yeah.
It's some like kind of generic name, but it's
Yeah.
such a great place, pool
Yeah.
tables and shit. But they had like like a lobster and a half in this fucking roll, and it was
Wow.
fire.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I miss some of the fresh seafood, that you get, like, on the West Coast, or like I said, even that East Coast up there, there's so much good seafood, oysters and those kinds of things, but,
I'm
yeah.
not a no. That's you're getting. I'll
Too
be no. You're getting. Well, you started with oysters and all that. I'm not that. I even felt bad bringing up lobster rolls because I'm not a big seafood guy, but that was a fire lobster roll. I just
alright.
don't. I'm not a big seafood
Yeah,
guy.
not for
I like
you.
shrimp. I like
Yeah,
shellfish. I like shellfish.
yeah.
But yeah, you start getting into like mussels. That's not the shell I'm trying to fish out of.
Sure, sure.
I
Well, you talked about getting your dates calendars filled up. You've got some pretty exciting tours coming up this next year. I think I just saw you in a music video. Now you're in music videos. I know you
I'm a
filmed it.
video hoe.
Yeah, you're in videos now. Well, what was that? Let's talk about that music video for me. That looked fun.
Oh, it was. It was, I was with my friends at Stitched Up Heart. She has been a friend of mine, Mixie and Merritt and the band have been friends for, I met them when I was with Rock Rage.
Yeah,
And one of the very first bands that I met was them. And I remember thinking that I would love to tour with them. And my last tour, I was their tour manager and driver.
there you go.
See, and, but yeah, she needed a Jesus, and I mean, I've got kind of a thing here, so I brought out Mayhem Jesus again, and her and the baddies,
Well,
and
hold on. Let's stop there
uh,
for 2 seconds. There. So you kind of had a reputation even before you were touring with bands of going to music festivals and everything's dressed up as Jesus and like a Jesus outfit. Just like some people show up
yeah,
in
yeah.
blow up fat man suits, you show up as Jesus, and so you've kind of got this little look, and now you're known for this.
Well, that's how I got my radio show. I remember I would go to these music festivals with, they'd have all these camps in the camping grounds, and I was with a camp called Camp Mayhem.
Okay.
And I went one time, and I remember like I would see all these Power Rangers and Spider Man and all this shit. And I saw this dirty looking Jesus, and I was like, I look more like Jesus than that guy. So the next year, I dressed up like Jesus, and that's whenever that picture happened. And
Yeah.
I kind of became Mayhem Jesus, and I just kind of I kept going to festivals and partying, and that's kind of what got the people. Somebody that was working with Rock Rage noticed it and wanted to talk to me about it. So that was what got me going with it. Yeah,
Well,
started as Mayhem Jesus, and now I've revamped it. But yeah, went
so
to we were in Santa Ana, California, not beautiful house on the beach, and filmed it with Mixie brought all of her internet hot girlfriends, all of her crushes, every hot which to be the only guy on set with, Mixie and all of her crushes is not a bad spot to be. It it was fun.
Well, of course, you had the didn't the lead singer Steel Panther come in and try to get a little bit
Oh
of
yeah, yeah. You saw how that worked out for her,
yeah,
didn't you? Hey,
tried. That's
yeah,
funny.
right in the
Great.
pool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what a
yeah.
fun song
It was
too.
crazy. It's ironic. I was. me and you were just talking about Steel Panther 3 hours before I went to that shoot, and then next thing I know, their singer is standing next to me. You
Yeah.
toured with them, right?
No, I didn't. Mixed. We went and saw them when we were out on tour. Kenny used to know the old bass player, and we went and saw them when they were had their residency at the House of Blues before they actually started really touring. They were just doing the residency thing out there in L.A. and
Okay.
so we went out there and seen them. But no, Stitched Apart went out
Where
on the
at
road.
Anaheim?
No, in
Was that
L.A. That was L.A. Like the actual House of Blues like they used to have like there on Sunset Strip. I don't know if it's even there anymore. I don't think it's there anymore, but
I don't think I've been there, but it is.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But no, it
you would have
was,
known. Yeah,
yeah,
but those guys are
he
fun.
was a
I
cool
love
cat.
those guys. Those guys are a good time too. So,
They're
well,
definitely, a lot.
so you're going out on the road again this summer. I've seen you announce a few things. What are some of the places you're looking forward to getting out there with? Who you going out with?
I'm going out with, Butcher Babies next. I leave here in just about a week. I'll be with Butcher Babies. They're doing direct support for Jairus Johnson,
Okay.
which is, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Eva Under Fire and Lilac, which Lilac was with us on some shows on my last tour, so I know them and
Yeah.
I know Eva.
Yeah,
So,
they're
it's gonna
really
be
blowing
fun.
up
It's
too. I saw
Who's
they
that?
had some big Eva Under Fire that she's got some they got some
Oh,
big
yeah.
shows coming up too. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
it's
that.
and it's cool that, like, now I've like, I met the people I met Amanda from Eva whenever we did that lacrosse show. Well, I was with
Okay.
Starset
Yeah.
because it was Eva Under Fire, then Starset, and then Asking Alexandria, who I also went on tour with.
Right.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
How yeah, I mean, it's the universe is wild, dude.
Well, it's a
The
small
universe
world
is
and
wild.
especially like the rock world
Yeah,
and
it is a
ti
small world.
that's when you start talking about rock radio bands, you know what I mean? Then it gets even more narrow. So it's like you know, that's probably one of the coolest things that I would have to probably say that you get to experience is like going back to the same venue 3 and 4 and 5 times, and it's like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
been
I
here,
there's
done
people
that,
at venues that are friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's I know security guys and,
and
door people, bartenders.
that's one thing I always enjoyed was like it's just like seeing old friends, and I never really got
Yeah.
homesick. You know what I mean? I never felt like homesick 'cause I felt like I had friends. You know,
I get homesick when I get home.
it is, yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
What else is going on in the world of Mayhem Jesus before let you get out of here?
I've got like I said, I got the tour with the Butcher Babies, and then after that, I've got a tour with Infected Rain. They're doing a headlining tour, so I'm looking forward to that one. I'm kind of hitting I remember do you remember Metal in the Mountains?
Oh, I was just talking about that last night on another podcast up at Pipestem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Pipestem.
the one year I went, Stitched Up Heart played and Butcher Babies played. And
See, you
the
had
two
to have
of
been there the
them,
same year that we played there, and we just didn't know
I was
each
there the
other
year after. I was there in
after.
2021.
Okay,
I
because
was
I
there in
definitely know that Stitched
2021.
Up Heart. Speaking of which, have you ever been to the Buddha in Fort Myers, Florida?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
Buddha. I saw them on a murder on a TV. You know that guy that killed a bunch of heads, all the tattoos on his face is in prison. There's like a TV show. I guess there were a lot of. It was cool because they're filming. It's like they're at the Buddha instead of that giant Buddha statue. Like I've got
With the
pictures on my
bar in the
phone.
middle, right? The
Yeah,
bar is
yeah,
like right in the middle and then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You might have been there with us, even I think possibly because we went there a bunch. But
I
yeah,
might have. I've
it's
been there a couple
crazy.
of times. Yeah,
So you got
I
any
went there
festivals?
before I started touring.
You got any
Huh?
festival spots? Are you hitting any festivals that you know of this coming up year? Any
Uh yeah, I think I'll be with Starset at Incarceration.
Oh, I always wanted to go to we never got invited to that one. I always wanted to go to the prison
Bro,
there. It's a Shawshank prison,
I
right?
went my first time I went last year. Yeah, it's the Shawshank place. It was last year was my first like my thing was all about festivals and Ink was the one that I'd never gone to, but it was usually choosing between Ink and I think Louder Than Life or something like that. And I'd
Yeah.
always go to Louder Than Life. But I went to Inc. I was tour managing Stars or Silent Theory, and they played last year. So I got to go and experience it, and bro, it is cool, cool, cool. It's just I love old. That's what I like about Europe was the buildings and the
The
architecture. So that
history.
old
Yeah.
prison, it is
Yeah.
just so cool. Yeah, the history of Europe makes that
Yeah.
makes me want to move to Prague.
Yeah. I never we never got to go. I got to do some stuff in Europe and in Ireland with Operation Rock the Troops, and being over there in Ireland and like standing in a church. It's like from the 1400s is like,
Right.
ooh, that's
Yeah.
some, it's
Yeah.
crazy,
How was
uh,
South Africa?
oh man, South Africa was, well, it was beautiful, first of all, like, it really was.
Like the landscape is pretty.
Yeah, on the safari, you know what I mean? There's some trees and just things that you just don't ever see in America. And, like
Yeah.
the just some of the shrubberies and some of the things that are, uh in the bush, the trees, man. The trees really I did I remember commenting about, man, these some great looking trees. But yeah, it's just beautiful. We were on.
You feel like you're in another country though the whole time, right?
Oh, you were hyper aware of the fact that you were in
Yeah.
another country, but it did have a very weird feeling, like, because like they say that, like, human life began in Africa, and it's like it's been around for a long time. It's just so big and vast, and everything is just so like it's very
Yeah.
surreal.
Yeah.
But what I didn't expect going there. I just didn't. I wasn't paying attention too much to some of their politics and stuff, but I didn't understand the racism. But they did like, it's and it's kind of reverse. It's like if there are places where as a white person you just can't go because it's not safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but then
It's
there's
kind of like that here too, bro.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But
I've been to a couple of places.
yeah, for sure. But then also it's kind of, vice versa from that. There are definitely places where it's like signs, uh, said things like members only, or they might have said whites
Oh,
only,
here
but no, this is in South Africa, you know.
is members only. Is that a thing here too?
There, yeah, for sure. There's members only clubs, but I don't think that necessarily is implicitly like
But it doesn't mean that.
doesn't it might. I don't know where these members only clubs at. It could, but
It was in
uh,
like South Carolina.
yeah, sometimes they do that to get around the alcohol. They don't have alcohol rules, but if it's a private
That's what.
club,
Yeah,
could be
that's
one
what
of
I
those. But
thought. You just said
these were
members only,
definitely
and I know there's a place.
these were definitely like when they
Sorry, South
met members
Carolina.
only, they meant white, only white, and so that was kind of
Yeah,
surreal. But South Africa in
I've never
particular,
really seen. Yeah, I've never
um,
seen like outright segregation like that.
yeah, I
I
mean
don't want to. Yeah, I'm okay
it
with that.
it's not cool. It's not cool, but it is very much still a third world country, and most people are living in
Where were you at? What country were you in?
South Africa, and then the city that we flew into was the Johannesburg, where we fly into,
Okay.
and then we had
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a 4 hour van ride to a little town called Limpopo. I think that's how you said it, Limpopo. Uh, and then we're on a 6,500 acre wildlife ranch. They call them,
Is it like a
a
high
ranch.
fence ranch kind of thing? Where is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
enclosed?
yeah, enclosed, but
Yeah,
6,500 acres
yeah,
enclosed.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but yeah, you're not keeping everything in, you know what I mean? Smaller stuff,
That's
monkeys
cool.
and those they're all moving about, all the
They're
smaller creatures,
safer there.
but,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
And anything inside that enclosure should be safe.
yeah,
Hopefully.
but well, I mean, they're very now there are ranches that are hunting ranches that are it's in the wild, like, so you're trying to keep it very wild in the sense that the animals don't ever you don't ever want the animals to get used to the vehicles and the people and all of that. You're trying to keep
Yeah,
it
yeah.
very wild. But then there's also farms that are just safari. You get in the truck and you look, and you drive around and you just look at the animals, and and they set up feeders in different places so the animals will come out and you can get good looks at them.
Right,
And
right.
you know there's those kinds, but the one that we were on was specifically for hunting, and so Every
Oh,
animal
oh
every
shit.
animal has a price tag on it, and it's like,
Really?
yeah, they give you like a menu, and on that menu,
No
I'll have
shit.
yeah, here's the picture, here's the animals that you can harvest, that you
How
can
much?
and
Was it crazy expensive? Was
some,
it like
yeah, some. Uh, so like the cheapest thing that you could kill would be like a monkey. If you shot like one of the monkeys,
really?
yeah, those are
A
baboons or
monkey's
whatever.
cheap.
It's 100 because they're vermin. They're
Yeah.
they're they multiply. There's too many of them. So if you get one of those, it's $100. It's pretty cheap. Uh, Things that you could get like a giraffe. It's like you can
Yeah.
get a giraffe for like $2,500. Still pretty cheap. Now, uh,
2,500 is, I mean, for a giraffe, I guess.
yeah,
Getting it stuffed would cost a fortune too, though.
well, that there
Probably
is a
cost you
lot
more to
extra.
get it stuffed than to bag it.
Yeah, well, there are different fees on top of the mounting. Now, the thing is, a matter of fact, it's been almost a year. So when you shoot something there, it can't leave the country for 1 year. Like so, it has to get before it can leave
Stuffed
it.
right away and sit there.
It has to just sit there for 1 year before it can leave the country to make sure there's no like meat because they have like hoof and mouth. They have like other diseases in the
Oh,
livestock that they got to make sure there's no
yeah, yeah, yeah.
possible way there's any living tissue. So there's like a law that says that. But a couple of the guys that took some animal like a kudu, and one guy got a zebra. Um, it
Wow.
turns out I I was kind of curious myself if zebras were white horses with black stripes or black horses with white stripes. I can definitively tell you they are definitely black horses with white stripes.
Really? Black horses with white stripes.
Yeah, judging by their
So
genitalia.
predominantly black, huh?
Well,
Oh.
the part.
Sometimes I regret asking too many questions.
Oh, you
Being
walked into that one, but
being inquisitive doesn't always pay off for your buddy Darren.
no, it doesn't. But no, it was very cool. We uh we had to like live off a generator. It was like 100-year-old generator because the power kept going out, because
How long
electricity.
were you there?
10 days, 10
Really?
days. Yeah. Um, Roughly, yeah, 10 days. It was a long time. It seemed like a long time, but um that's gonna be coming out pretty soon. We actually got distribution deals in the works so that those can come out and we're almost done editing. Um I'll sneak peek you a private little link, let you see a little bit about what that stuff is. Cause that's one of those things too. It's like I've been telling everybody I'm doing this and doing that, and it sounds like a bullshit. And because it's like, but it just
Yeah,
takes a
yeah.
long time for that
Oh,
stuff to
tell
to
me about
come
it.
out. I will say
Yeah.
that I've definitely found or finding even more purpose through this work, where it's like the trying to be in a band and tour, all that stuff feels like a big struggle that you're like fighting against the machine or the man or whatever it is, and it's like it's a hard struggle, and so I found that this fight or this struggle, whatever it may be, if it's getting to South Africa and living in the bush for 10 days, whatever it is, and then coming back and making these songs and then seeing the end result of that.
Yeah.
Uh, that's I've been finding a great deal of purpose in that, and it's been helping
Yeah.
me
I
stay
mean, well, and
sane.
as a vet myself, I appreciate it. It's cool to see you guys doing that for, my brothers and sisters out there. I'm a veteran, so it watching what you do hits home with me too. It's dope.
Well, music is medicine, and there's one thing that you can probably agree with me is that where words fail, music definitely speaks, and it's cool to be able to have a life where you go out and kind of experience that. It's really a blessing to be able to every night you get to be in a room and share, not only from the artist perspective of them delivering the medicine, but then you get to see the fans receive that medicine every single night. And it's a
Dude,
cool thing.
it sounds like corny and cliche, but the energy from the crowd, like, I'm the guy that's on the side of the stage, whenever the band's getting ready and everybody's out there anxious
Yeah.
for it. Like, I see their faces, and I
Yeah.
see them light up when the lights go down. I can you can feel it. When
Yeah.
as
It's
soon
palatable for
as the
sure.
lights go down at a rock show,
It's,
the energy that you
oh,
feel from that crowd is incredible, and as soon
yeah.
as they see that singer or they hear that fucking riff or
Yeah.
that drum beat or whatever it is, there is an energy that, like, it legit cheers me up at
Yeah.
times, and
I'm
I'm
getting
not even the
goosebumps.
artist.
I'm getting
I'm
goosebumps
not
talking about it.
I'm not even the artist, but
Yeah.
it makes me tear up. There's parts of like there's one of the star set particularly that
Mm.
there's one part of every show I know that they're gonna hit. That same with yours, where I know that there's somebody in that crowd that's gonna cry.
Yeah.
And the energy that comes from that crowd is incredible, and it
Yeah.
legit will make me tear up.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, it's
It's
addicting,
beautiful.
and
Yeah.
I'm not even on the
Yeah.
stage, I'm not even performing, I'm
Yeah.
just a crew, but
Yeah. That is the
for
drug.
all the
That's
bullshit,
it. Yeah.
all the monotony and all the waiting and all the stress and all that, to if you wanna wrap this up with a nice little bow, as soon as the show starts, from that hour that my band is on stage, my whole night, my whole week is worth it. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
There's something like special. It's powerful. It's
Yeah.
addicting. I'm a fan as much as I am a tour manager, and to feel the energy from the crowd and to feel like my the bands are my people, to feel their pride and their excitement and their it I mean, there's a reason that I have long nights and lonely times and you know deal with craziness on a tour bus. I I work with some of the best musicians that I can imagine, some of the coolest people, and I get to feel their vibes.
That's great. And we'll just wrap it up with that and the fact that I think it's been just an incredible journey so far. I've been able to watch from afar. I've been able to share and make memories with you, but it's really great to see you out there doing it. From a musician standpoint, I appreciate all the hard work and dedication because it takes a team of people who are dedicated and also understand and get it like you. And I will tell you, you are definitely one of a kind, probably one of my favorite people in the whole world. And I'm very grateful to have had and made those memories with you. And I really look forward to hopefully making many, many more. So, I
Like,
hope you stay safe out there. Like I said, we're brothers from here on out. And let's do more of this. Looking forward to you coming back and telling us all the other adventures.
I want to go sit in that nice ass studio of yours.
Yes, you'll have to come up to the studio. Obviously, we're slumming it in my recording studio today over
All right.
Zoom, but you come back, we'll do this all over again. Whoever you're on
Oh
tour
yeah.
with, bring them in. We can do live band stuff. We can do all that stuff. So, if you're
Okay.
just finding out about my buddy Darrin, make sure you go and follow him. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media so they can keep up.
Darrin Perry touring everywhere. Darrin touring. Hit me up.
Yep, and if you're a band and you're looking for somebody who will get the job done every single time and rolls the meanest joints, this is your guy.
That's right. I am. Hey, you gotta have something, right?
Yeah, that's it. The Jesus joint. I love it. Uh,
Hey, have you gotten the cross joint yet?
yeah, we did
Have we
one.
smoked the cross joint?
Oh yeah, I think
Okay,
we invented it
oh, on the
together.
tour bus. Oh yeah, I remember. I got a video of it. Okay,
Well,
okay. I
we'll
just want
do
to
it
make
again.
sure.
We'll do it again,
So yeah,
man.
my cross joints. I gave a band a cross joint as a resume when I first started touring,
I
thinking
think
that
it's
that
a
was going to be
requirement.
cool.
That's how I'm
It
interviewing all
didn't
of my.
work. They
That's
they
how.
didn't hire me, but I thought it was cool as shit for me to
Yeah.
walk up as Mayhem Jesus and just hand over a cross joint as a resume.
I would have hired you on the spot, but you know what I mean?
You
So,
know what? It was a gamble. They were either gonna love it or hate it, and,
well,
you know.
hey, there's a lot
Hey,
worse
man,
things.
thank you for having me, dude. Glad to see you doing this. This seems like something for you. You giving your knowledge and sharing stories is perfect for you.
Well, hopefully we're gonna do more, man. So take care. We'll talk to you soon.